How's it going, everyone? It's Bomberman Dan with Clan Dino Gaming, bringing you some more professional StarCraft 2 replays. In today's best of threes between EGHuK, our Protoss spawning in the right-hand spawn of Antigua Shipyard, and MarineKingPrime, our blue Terran player spawning in the left spawn of Antigua Shipyard. And this is a matchup at MLG Winter Arena 2012. So a little old, but not that old, so still pretty relevant to today's standards. So Marine King, pretty much one of the best Terrans in the world right now, besides MVP. Really, yeah, Marine King's probably one of the better ones up there. EGHuK, on the other hand, has lost a little bit of his steam. Isn't as good as he used to be, I think it's fair to say, but he is probably one of the best Protoss players, definitely on the foreign scene. Able to hold his own in Europe and North America. Just those crazy Korean Protosses like MC and Squirtle and whatnot are just dominating very, very well. As well as Nannywalk creating that new Zerg build that kind of shook up the metagame a little bit there between PvZ, showing that you can kind of go gateway in the main, put pressure on, expand, stay safe, and then have warp gate very fast and able to do a lot. So kind of a new thing that you see in PvZ that you wouldn't normally see. So Marine King has not built a barracks yet and is stocking up a lot of minerals here. So it looks like he's going to go before a very fast expansion. So a command center on 14. So a very greedy opening there. Has to kind of rely on his ability to micro EGHuK if it comes to EGHuK putting a lot of pressure on him. EGHuK, on the other hand, has everything set up for some fast warp gate, so we could see a 4-gate happen. We could just see like a 2-gate pressure into an expansion of himself. So we'll have to see how EGHuK retaliates to this. Sort of a late scout. I believe that scout might have been around 17 supply, so not the fastest scout in the world. EGHuK knows that this is cross spawn, so he has to be spawning in one location. So EGHuK's going to come up here and see this command center and see what he can see up here. There's 2 barracks being added on. So there's going to have to be at least 1 bunker thrown down. Not entirely sure if Marine King will be able to hold on there. There are, okay, a little bit of probe problem there. But it looks like there's going to be a Stalker chrono boosted out, and warp gate is on its way. So it looks like EGHuK's sending down 2 probes here, and he could be getting them geared up for proxy pylon positions. So we'll have to see a little bit of probe harass there. And going back to Marine King's base, we do have 1 barracks finished up creating Marines, and the 2nd barracks here will be done soon. And so Marine King's gonna have to throw down some bunkers here to survive, especially if this is going to be a 4-gate, though EGHuK has not added on any extra gates here, and has a little bit of time on his cybernetic core for when he can create gates. But it looks like instead EGHuK is going to be going for a Nexus himself, so he will be expanding here, and is going to harass a little bit here with the Zealot, but will be held off here by Marine King. So it looks like EGHuK is going to try to shift this game into the mid or late game here by expanding himself. It's not going to go for any 1-base play right now, so we'll have to see what EGHuK does, kind of keeping the Zealot here to probe around a little, see what Marine King's got. But Marine King only has Marines right now, but is adding on a barracks as well as a refinery there, 2 refineries, sorry. So he's going to be getting his gas, getting ready to tech up here, and it looks like Marine King is going to stutter step his way and get that Zealot. So nice micro there by Marine King, and EGHuK just kind of staying out here with his Stalker, making sure that Marine King, or knows when Marine King will be pushing out and whatnot. EGHuK, on the other hand, is going to be going for a very fast Twilight Council, so we'll have to see if that's going to be blink play or some sort of just fast upgrades, maybe even ETs to kind of force those scans. Nice spread up at the top of Marine King here, going to be able to kill Zealots very quickly if they try to get up there, or maybe even the Stalker if the Stalker decides to push up. So EGHuK just probing up here and adding on some gateways just so he can survive if, of course, Marine King decides to push. Marine King, on the other hand, just has these 3 barracks and a tech lab that he's going to be researching Stim first. So we're going to be getting Stim instead of Combat Shield here. So definitely kind of, instead of getting, or I guess Stim is kind of a more interesting choice here, because It does take longer than Combat Shield, but it's sort of telling us that he's going to be kind of going, I would say, getting Marauders here shortly. That way, the stim can work for both, but maybe you just prefer stim over Combat Shield earlier in the game. Not entirely sure. It's sort of up to the preference of the player. We do have a factory being added on here, as well as reactor and a tech lab on both of these barracks. So it's going to be probably an MMM. Factory is going to be used just to tech towards Starport. And going back to HuK space, nothing really has changed all that much. We do have a Dark Shrine here, so it was DT's. So it looks like he's going to prepare for that Zealot Archon right off the bat. We do have some Stalkers here at the front lines for HuK, just to make sure he can spot any advance forward here by Marine King. It looks like there was a small little push up there, but HuK is not going to go up there if he's wise, because Marauder Slow, if that finishes, is it being even upgraded here? Nope, Marauder Slow is not getting upgraded, or concussive shells, as of right now, but I'm sure they'll be upgraded here soon. HuK, on the other hand, does not have a forge yet, so there are no upgrades going down. I only say that because I think there's an engineering bay here for Marine King, and he's going to be getting +1 weapons there. So HuK's going to have to get that forge down here soon. Did add on the double assimilator here at the natural, so he will be able to mine all that gas that a Protoss player needs here for as much tech as he needs. And HuK just kind of playing pretty passively, not attacking, not probing upward. There was a DT here in the main, and there's another one there doing quite a bit of damage here. The scan does go down. That DT will be cleaned up there. Did stop that missile turret from being built. There is another DT down here in the natural, so HuK just being very aggressive here with his DTs. Good spread on them, making sure that they aren't taken out in one hit at all. That is the only DT there. So that DT was walked in. There's no proxy pylon or warp prism there. And nice play there by Marine King, pulling SCVs to repair that supply depot, waiting until he has enough energy so that he can scan and kill this DT, as the DT is not going to be able to kill the supply depot anytime soon. And will basically be screwed. It can't leave this location, so that DT, he could try to get it away, but I don't know. It looks like he's just going to go for some SCVs, so some nice kills there for that DT, and we're going to go to the units, or killed, and it looks like HuK was able to kill 12 workers there. So very nice there for HuK. It's going to delay Marine King, but those mules will be oh so good to do anything. And HuK getting those stalkers to kill this factory before it can do any real scouting is good, because that's going to prevent that factory from coming in later and absorbing stalker shots, as well as just being so annoying. So there's going to be a push forward here by Marine King, mostly Marines, a couple Marauders there. And HuK doesn't actually have too much. It's going to come down to a couple good warpins and these zealots here, sentries with their force fields. These sentries are pretty fresh, having a little energy, so it's going to be very crucial force fields here. It looks like there's going to be some DTs here, or at least one, so good play there by HuK. It's going to force a scan there, and if there's not a scan, he will have to lose a lot of units here. So there's going to be a drop in the main, and HuK's going to scout that there with that DT. We'll have to see how HuK spreads his units here, because this could be all or nothing, and it looks like HuK being a little undecisive. There's going to lose a couple probes, but has to watch out, because these units can just walk up into his main. He didn't leave the sentries down to the force field. Now, it looks like they're going to come down there, but this top units are going to be cleaned up there finally, but the units down here in his natural are going to do a lot of damage here. HuK warping in a zealot and a DT, but they're taken out very quickly. He's going to have to pull some probes there. In nice force fields there, trapping a couple units, but MKP doing a very good job of moving his units around, preventing from those force fields from doing a lot of damage. Nice pickup there into the Medivac, saving those two Marauders there, and Marine King just having some very good micro here, just kind of pulling HuK apart, doing a great job of keeping his units alive. And HuK is not looking to be in the best position here, but his DT might come in handy if he does not have any energy on his command center. Scan does go down, and the DT will get taken out there, so we do have 3 Marauders left with a little bit of health each, but these Medivacs do not have any energy, so there's not going to be too many heals go down. And it looks like MKP is going to fall back, but he does have quite a few reinforcements here, and it looks like they're going to be picked up, and there's going to be a drop here that looks like... Yeah, there's going to be a drop in the main. It looks like HuK did warp in some stalkers up there. And might be able to get this drop here, but there's 3 Medivacs and only 1 as units, so it looks like they're going to actually be taken out there, so HuK's going to be able to hold on just a little bit longer. A nice pickup there by Marine King, going to save a couple of those units. HuK, on the other hand, has a DT looking for some kills. Marine King taking the center of the map, has map control, but as we see here, HuK does have this third base barely mining, but it is mining and it is down. Marine King, on the other hand, does not have a third base. He is mining heavily on his second, though, and is adding on barracks. So it looks like Marine King is going to be going for that third. Not sure why he has the command center at his main. It's going to take a while to float it over. He does have map control there, so he could just sort of build it over on the side there, but it looks like Marine King's going to spot this warp in here, and it might be taken out there by HuK because he does have so many DTs and such a good spread of them. He's forcing scans left and right. There's command centers do not have enough for a scan. Marine King's going to have to get some units out here on the field if HuK pushes forward, but it looks like he will be okay. There's going to be a DT searching over here, and you're going to see that Marine King does not have a third. So HuK probably think he's in a pretty good position. He does have all of his bases mining. Does have his main still mining after a big hit there from those drops, and then going to get the gases on his third, so HuK's going to be in a very good position here. He's going to be able to switch to Zealot Archon whenever he needs it. He does have a ton of Zealots here, as we can see, and they do have charge. They're going to be very effective, as well as 1-1. Marine King, on the other hand, does have 1-1 as well, so both players will be equal on the upgrades. But there's so many Zealots here, but the Zealots won't be enough. If we get some good force fields there, that would be good. But he's going to need some Archons here too, because good stutter step by Marine King, a player who's known for his excellent control, is going to be very, very effective here against HuK. As well as I really like, there's going to be a Ghost Academy being built here for Marine King, wherever that Ghost Academy is. Right there. So ghosts are going to be oh so effective against this ground army. The EMP is going to take out all the shields, basically killing half of the unit, and any Archons that come down are really going to lose a lot of their health, and that was a very nice snipe there by Marine King, just stimming an entire army up there and picking that Nexus off very quickly. And HuK, not in the best of positions here, should have had an observer or something checking for that, but Marine King sniping that Nexus, and is actually going to put him a little bit in the lead there, because HuK's going to wait all that time until that Nexus can be made again. So there's going to be a big push forward here by HuK. Those Zealots did use a lot of their charge. Just going to wait until that has been refreshed. Only, I think, like 8 seconds or something. So not a big deal. Moving stock, and I actually like this by HuK. Stalker's not that great against an MMM, but with all these Zealots with charge, he's going to have something that can kind of hit from a long range and do some damage from the back. And that's exactly what those Stalkers were going to do, is going to do that DPS from the back. So even if he did decide to stutter step, he would be getting some damage there as well. So HuK, just trying to keep his unit composition in a good position here, deciding to get Blink as well, so that would be some pretty effective there against drops, and he can blink forward to pick off ghosts and whatnot. But these ghosts are going to be very kind of deadly here, and I really like how HuK is adding on those 2 Robos wherever those are. So if he's going to decide to go with a Colossus, kind of switch back into Colossus, that's going to kind of stress Marine King. He's going to have to decide to make Vikings here, and Colossus are very good against basically every Marine Marauder Ghost, because they have a lot of health, and so when they lose their shields, they still have a lot of like regular hull health. So they're going to do a lot of damage here, and without Vikings, they're not going to be taken down all that easily. And then if he does make Archons, then Archon, Viking, Colossus is going to be so deadly there. Did I say Viking? Archon, Zealot, Colossus is going to be so deadly against Marine King. So we do have some Archons morphing in the front. He's going to have to watch out. He might actually lose 1 or 2 of these Archons here, but the Archons do all make it back. One might actually die, so 1 Archon does go down, and there's going to be a nice split here by HuK, but Marine King's going to haul him back into this little position here, so he can't get a full surround. Nice force field there by HuK, is going to let these Zealots do a lot of damage, as well as the Archons are going to cut into it, but it might not be enough here, because HuK is losing a lot of the supply very quickly, because Marine King had a very big army there, and it looks like Marine King is going to hold on rather well, but there's going to be some Zealots warping in here, and it looks like HuK might actually hold this rather well, but there's a nice pick up there, a nice blink up there by HuK, but he might actually just lose all these Stalkers here, so HuK might not be able to hold on. He's going to warp in a DT here. Hopefully he won't see it, or that he's going to have to force a scan that MarineKing does not have. He does snipe the Nexus in the main, so MarineKing just trying to pull apart HuK, but did not have that much. Nice snipe there by HuK's Stalker, getting that Medivac, because Medivacs are very expensive to replace. And MKP has a nice big army here and behind, so reinforcing that very well, keeping his macro up. And he's going to be getting a command center, can go for his 4th, just floated over here, but there is a pylon here for HuK, so HuK can try to deny that as long as possible. Another pylon again. HuK, on the other hand, looks like he's going to be searching up here, patrolling with a Zealot, and is going to have to start to take a 4th here soon, because he's only mining off of 2 bases. He really was, again, but he did have a little bit here to mine off of, and he's going to have to go for a 4th. There's no high yield here because we are playing on an MLG version of this map, so that there is no there's no good minerals, gold minerals here. So it's not really worth the risk to go for this if you can get an expansion a lot easier here. And it looks like MarineKing's actually going to expand forward here and go for the kind of middle base. Guess he thinks he can defend it, but MarineKing certainly can. Units lost, we're going to actually favor MarineKing, not too surprisingly here. He's going and sniping a lot of stuff, has very good control, and destroyed HuK in that army kind of battle there. So HuK's going to go forward here with the Stalker, and is going to lose a couple of them, but does manage to get the rest out of there. And HuK's got a very nice Zealot Colossus army here, so good transition out of there. And MarineKing might not actually be ready for this, but it really can come down to micro here. MarineKing has good micro and pick off these Colossus. It could be a big deal here, getting those Zealots into position here. There's going to be some EMPs going down, but HuK's got to get his Zealots into position here. His Colossus are doing a lot of damage. The Zealots getting nice in on that army. Nice splits there by MarineKing, making sure that his units don't take all that much damage from these Zealots. But HuK doing a lot of damage here with a ton of Colossus and a ton of Zealots here. And MarineKing might actually just lose this base. He's got to move his Colossuses into range to kill these units. A nice move around here by MarineKing to try to snipe these Colossus. HuK, though, retaliating very well by moving Zealots into position. And it looks like HuK might actually take this forward expansion. Though MarineKing is reinforcing rather well, he might have to produce Vikings, and he is making Vikings very quickly. So good response there by MarineKing, but HuK forcing that 4th base out of here and kind of tying things up a little bit. Move forward there. He's got off the watch. He might lose a Colossus to that missile turret, because missile turrets do a lot of damage to Colossus. And Ghost actually getting taken out here by the Colossus, but the Vikings can come down here and snipe it. 2 Vikings going in, and it looks like one of the Colossus might actually go down. There's going to be a push forward here by HuK, but he doesn't have all that much here, especially because MarineKing is defending. And he did just lose a Colossus there, and there's going to be a little bit of a push back by MarineKing, and it looks like that will be able to push HuK backwards. But HuK's got a nice unit here composition, got an Archon, got a couple Zealots, got a Colossus, and MarineKing has to watch out here, because this could be it there. There's going to be Zealots running into the 3rd here for MarineKing, and MarineKing's going to have to try to push forward here. MarineKing stims forward and takes out a Colossus, but there's a lot of Zealots there, and it could actually be trouble here for MarineKing. The Zealots do come back here from the 3rd to try to sandwich this army, but it looks like MarineKing will hold on here just a little bit longer. There is a DT in the mix, and there's going to be a scan. There's the scan, and it looks like MarineKing does hold on. With a base that is on fire here, we need to get mules come down here to repair this, and it looks like the base will be saved. So HuK, nice push forward there, sort of evening up the matchup, I would say, a little. Going to units lost, it does still favor MarineKing, but at this point in time, 4,000 minerals is not the biggest differential this late in the game. HuK does not have a 4th base, though, and needs to get one of those up here soon. He is long distance mining, is completely mined out of his natural here, as well as MarineKing. So HuK does need to kind of expand here. DT harass here at the 4th, and this looks like this DT is going to get away. So HuK is very fortunate there, getting that harass down here. Does have a DT up here. Not entirely sure what is going on, but HuK is just kind of reinforcing his army, and it looks like he's going to be going Zealot Archon here again. Figures he forced a lot of Vikings, but actually MarineKing being very good, not overreacting to this Colossus. Only has 5 Vikings here, so not the biggest waste of minerals or resources. So MarineKing playing very effectively here, getting all of these DTs, and HuK being so nice and effective with those Dark Templars, just harassing the crap out of MarineKing. And it looks like MarineKing's going to push forward here, and HuK does not have that much of an army, so if MarineKing gets this army off guard, HuK could just straight up lose. There's not much of an army here, but there are 2 more Archons, so that's going to make this quite more effective of an army. MarineKing might actually just go into HuK's base and harass the crap out of him, because HuK doesn't have anything back at his main. And it looks like MarineKing's just going to do that. He's just going to go attack the third. If HuK loses this third, he's basically out of the game. He's not going to be mining. While MarineKing still has the third base up and running, and he's just worried about losing the fourth. And HuK's going to warp in a DT, but the scan sniped him right away. And it looks like HuK is going to go for the fourth base here. So it looks like it might actually just be a base race here. But MarineKing, kind of confident in his ability to have a stronger army here, is going to pull a lot of his SUVs back. And HuK just going to kill a ton of probes here. Or sorry, MarineKing killing a ton of probes. And it looks like HuK is in a bad position here. The third was taken out. The natural's being taken out. A lot of probes are dying here. And supply is 148 MarineKing, 90 HuK. And HuK just seems to not be in a good position here at all. SCVs getting a surround on Stalkers actually might kill them. So HuK just not looking to be in the best position here. It is 123 supply to 85 because a lot of those SCVs were dead weight here. And we'll have to see how this goes down. MarineKing can easily float a base and then just clean up HuK's army, and it looks like that might just come to it. MarineKing just killing a lot of stuff, but there's proxy pylons everywhere, so MarineKing will not just straight up win, and HuK can move all of his army to a pylon if he needs to. But MarineKing has command centers that he can float off and start dueling from, and then start making Marines from barracks and whatnot. So MarineKing in a pretty good position here. I would say definitely has it here over HuK. He can definitely fly Vikings around the map and pick off proxy pylons. But HuK is going to gear up here for an attack. Has a very nice spread here. And MKP sees it. He can lift up all of his stuff, but it looks like he's going to land his Vikings and just go in for an attack. HuK sort of out of position here. Might just straight up lose a lot of his stuff. And there's going to be a stim back here. The Zealots are going to attack. The probes are going to take up a lot of stuff, but HuK is just falling fast, and that is it. HuK is basically lost. There's the GG. So MarineKing takes game number 1 off of HuK. And we'll have to see what happens in the next match of this best of 3. Thanks for watching, everybody, and don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe.